So I have never in my life had an electric bill be over $400, like max 350 in the winter. And I just got my electric bill. It's 412. I like budget in the summer, no more than 200.
So, what do you actually do when you're house poor? So, you just bought a house, the upkeep on it, the mortgage on it, all the interest payments, everything is so expensive.
A lot of Americans right now are kind of regretting buying expensive houses. Some of Americans are literally regretting buying a house at all. Houses are expensive. It's not just like you paying 500 grand for a house and you're done. You gotta pay the property tax, which is super expensive. My city, if you get a $500,000 suburban house, the property tax is like $350 to almost $500 per month. Home insurance almost $200 per month. Utilities, internet, all that is like over $300. Also, the occasional maintenance, things break here and there. It's so freaking expensive to own a house right now. People are making $220,000 a year and they still can't afford a decent house right now. And people are becoming house poor. People are regretting their home purchases. It's kind of wild.
I'm shocked. Did anyone else's electric bill last month shoot up? I wasn't here for half of the month. I didn't run the heat. I had everything unplugged. Like, look at this is my fridge right now. That is my fridge is unplugged. I turned off the breaker box. So there was not a pinch of electricity running through this apartment for like half the month of February. I was expecting my electric bill for February's to be less than $30, like super, super cheap. It was $49. My jaw fell to the floor. I'm shocked. I thought it was gonna be one of the cheapest electric bills I've ever had. I'm a financial coach and part of my job is to look at the monthly spending of my clients. So I was talking to one of my clients and usually her electric bill is like $300 to $400 a month. For February's bill, it was over $600 for 1 month. So now I'm wondering if everyone's electric bill was super high last month. You can look at my bill. I really didn't use that much electricity, but it's the delivery cost that makes up like 80% of my electric bill every month. Oh my God, it's so stupid.
Where do you live and how much do you pay for your housing? Because this is my Friday treat. And I make good money and I can only afford one coffee a week. Fridays are my special days to get a coffee. Because I'm so house broke, I paid $3,000 for my 1,700 square foot home, which isn't that big of a house, I think. Like, I feel like if I move states and I could still make the same amount of money, I could get more bang for my buck. Okay, the thing that I do, like working in the legal field, that doesn't really change state to state. It's still expensive to have a lawyer, so I'm still gonna get paid good. I make money on social media. That's not changing if I move to a different state. So, what am I doing wrong that I can only afford one coffee a day? I want to have coffee every day. But if I move states, I won't have coffee. Moral of the story, where do you live and what do you pay for your housing? Because I'm trying to get a range on where I want to move. And maybe one of you can have my job.
My mortgage payment went up nearly $1,000 because my property taxes more than tripled from last year to this year. So let's talk about it. For starters, hi, if you're new here, my name is Kaylee. I like to talk about personal finance based on my experiences, good and bad, in hopes that you learn from some of my mistakes and you don't gotta learn the hard way like I did. I bought a house last year, May of 2024, in South Florida. I purchased it with FHA at a 6.625 interest rate at a 30-year fixed. Now, my mortgage payment alone, just with principal and interest, was $2,277.05. It's important to note that that's not what I'm going to pay the lender every month because you have to add on top of that your property taxes, insurance, and that's held in escrow. Escrow is a separate account managed by your mortgage lender, which holds the funds for when it's time for you to pay your property taxes and home insurance. Some loans require that you have escrow, and in this case, because I have FHA, it's mandatory to have escrow. I have to add up my insurance, my property taxes, as well as mortgage insurance. My home insurance last year was $5,774. My property taxes were $2,082, and my mortgage insurance was $1,738. You add all that up, you get $9,594. You then take that number and divide it by 12 for the 12 months in the year, which made my escrow payment $799. Now you take that $799 and add it on top of the $2,277, bringing my grand total monthly mortgage payment last year to $3,076. As stated in the beginning of the video, my property taxes for 2025 tripled, which now makes my mortgage payment $4,002. Before I dive in on the numbers for 2025, I want to highlight a huge mistake that I did in hopes that you guys don't do it. When I got a refund check from escrow, I automatically assumed that the taxes would stay relatively the same, maybe even like a grand over. So when I got that refund, I did not put it back to escrow. That's where I messed up. So from when the estimate came out at my taxes for 2025 being now 8,219, I was shook. Now, I did get a notice mid-May saying that, hey, your mortgage is about to go to $4,002 if you do nothing. Now, if you do make a large lump sum payment of, I think about like high six, low sevens, then your mortgage payment would be $3,417. Let's do now the new math for 2025 to bring up why it's now $4,002. My home insurance this year was $3,730.91. I highly encourage y'all to shop around to get a better quote. My mortgage insurance stayed the same at $1,738, but my property taxes went from $2,072 to $8,219, giving you a grand total of $13,687. Now remember how we did the math before. We take that number and divide it by 12. So that gives us a $1,140 escrow payment on top of the monthly mortgage, bringing us to $3,417. But remember, I didn't put my refund check back into escrow, so now I had a shortage. And because I didn't anticipate this huge jump, I was short. Lender added another fee of the shortage, causing another $585 to go on top of that, bringing now my new mortgage payment of $4,002. Now, I also seen this a lot in the comments. Yes, I have a FHA 30-year fixed rate. While my monthly mortgage payment will always be $2,277, the payment that I have to pay to the lender may fluctuate depending on property taxes and homeowners insurance, because remember that gets added on top of your monthly payment. Oh, it was probably a new build. No, this bad boy was built in 1959. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom house in South Florida. Another question was, did I have any type of exemptions? Yes, I did have homestead exemption, which knocked off about $25,000. Now the big question, how is this even legal? How is it able to jump so high? When I purchased a property, it got reassessed to its market value. The last owner had it in 2008, and as y'all know, prices were very different back then. I'm taxed on its current market value, which is hundreds and thousands of dollars over as it was before. Some key takeaways. One, if you get a refund, whether from your insurance, escrow, please put it back to escrow. Don't make the same mistake I did, and that eventually caused me to go into a shortage. Plan ahead and just know the year after you purchase, your property taxes are going to be much different. I pray not this different, but it's going to be different than you initially purchased it with. I'm also getting a lot of great suggestions and advice in the comments of potentially protesting my taxes. I never done it before. I've only owned one property prior to this, and please share how y'all did it, your experiences. I love to learn more about that. And, who knows, maybe I'll try it. If y'all are still watching and you're probably asking yourself, why are you sharing this? Because I want y'all to learn from my mistake. It's so disheartening to see that a lot of you guys are in similar situations with your property taxes tripled, insurances tripled. It makes it so much harder to be a homeowner. How am I going to get out of this situation or fix it? I'm going to eventually have to save up to make a large payment into escrow. And then once that payment is made, I'm going to ask for an off-cycle escrow analysis to hopefully have my monthly mortgage payment go back down. I was initially going to talk about this after everything was said and done and the dust was cleared, but I'm like, why not document it in real time? This is hard. I just want you guys to know that you're not alone and that there's going to be ways and avenues of getting through this. God has me, I am faithful, and I will get out of it. I'm just going to document the journey and just have y'all along for the ride. I appreciate y'all watching this, and if y'all have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments.
You want to own a house so bad because your landlord keeps increasing your rent, but did you know that your mortgage can and probably will go up over the years?
On today's episode of Things No One Tells You About Homeownership, I'm talking about the misconception that your mortgage stays the same over the 30 years and what exactly in that mortgage payment makes it so variable. So your total mortgage is made up of 3 different things: principal, interest, and escrow. Principal and interest never change, so that does stay the same. Escrow is kind of what gets you. So your escrow is made up of 3 different things: property taxes, home insurance, and mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance only comes into play when you didn't put 20% down on your house, like me, but that does stay the same until it disappears. What changes constantly is your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes. Here's how it works with the bank. So for our first year of our house, the bank told us, hey, total mortgage, including principal, interest, and escrow, will be $2,207. And they based that on what property taxes and homeowner's insurance at the time was. However, what they do is they come back a year later and be like, we gotta have a talk. Those property taxes and home insurance that I thought was this price is actually this price. It's gone up. So now you owe us money. So for our first year, our mortgage jumped from $2,209 to $2,407, which $200 may not sound like a lot, but it is a lot, and it was a lot. And they do this every single year. However, that doesn't mean it keeps going up. The escrow shortage the second year was lower, so we were in the 2300s. And then this past year, we're back in the 2400s again. The people that are gonna comment this are not gonna make it this far in the video, but disclaimer, you can pay this up front. For us, this will be like $7,000, $8,000 because of how much our property taxes and home insurance is. But you are allowed to pay all of this amount once a year at one time. However, the likelihood that people are not only able to save that much aside, but put that much aside, like us, we have 1,000 financial goals that we're always trying to hit. So no, I'm not putting an extra $8,000 aside for this, but you are allowed to pay it at once. So you don't wound up in this situation every year. So our mortgage now is the highest it's ever been at $2,429. And we also put another $100 on top of that to pay down principal faster. I have 0 regrets about homeownership. I will do this 10 times over, but I do feel like there's a lot of misinformation out about there. And as a young homeowner trying to encourage other young homeowners to own if they want to, I feel like y'all should be most informed about that process. So y'all help me decide the next episode of this. Should I be positive and talk about how much our home has appreciated over the years and what made this whole process actually worth it? Or y'all more interested in the home buying process itself, like how much we paid in closing costs? How does it work to actually go through the process of buying a home? Inspections, appraisals? I could talk about it all, let me know.
People keep asking me why I bought my house if I hate it so much, and despite the fact that real estate is a commodity that's really hard to come by and very expensive in New Hampshire, I want to show you why I still bought my house, even though I really can't stand this 70s split level that I live in. This is one reason why I love my house. This is another reason why I love my house so much, and the blue heron that calls this pond home in the summer. That stupid opening between my kitchen and my living room also houses all of the holiday tables when we have 20 of our closest friends and family join us for events. I also have 4 unique outbuildings on my property. This is a reason why I love my house. This garden that I built by hand, that I get to grow my vegetables and my flowers in every summer, is a reason why I love my house. I totally understand that words like hate can be inflammatory and some people really don't like the use of them. I get that. I can both practice gratitude for what I have and recognize that the space I was living in just wasn't bringing me joy anymore the way that it was. And there are things about this house that I've wanted to change since day one, and for one reason or another have not gotten around to it. So I decided that 2026 was the year I take that into my own hands and I find a way to love my house and I change my surroundings and make it more functional for my current self and my future self. And that's what this series is about. It's just simply finding a way to love the space that I'm in.
My mortgage is going up over $500 per month. Yes, let that sink in. I live in a starter house. If you saw it, we'd all agree that it's a starter house. Mortgage was already $4,300 a month. And I got a letter saying now it's going up to $4,800 a month. Only own this house for 18 months. I bought it in the summer of 2024. That doesn't even factor in the $75,000 that I've already put into updates and repairs, all the other things that come with being a homeowner. I'm grateful for sure for where I live. It's a great area. There's great schools. Honestly, at the age of 25, having my mortgage payment go up this much every single month is very mentally taxing. The kicker is that my friend told me that she saved thousands of dollars per year by using Fincast, which is this loan estimate website. Found a better rate and a better lender on Fincast. I had no idea that this even existed when I bought my house. If I had, then my payments every single month would have been hundreds of dollars lower and I would have avoided this increase. The PSA is, do not make the same mistake that I did. Use the tools that we have now. Shop your mortgage on Fincast. See if there's a lender that will give you a better rate. I mean, even a small difference in a rate, like a couple decimal points, is literally worth hundreds of dollars. Trust me, when your mortgage payment is already huge, every single dollar counts. This is the one thing that you can actually control. Don't wait until your first payment jumps hundreds of dollars higher like I did.
I'm in the process of buying my very first house as a 28-year-old with no kids. I'm not married. I am in a relationship. I close in 7 days and I feel like I should be super excited right now and happy, but in reality, I am terrified. And I am so nervous and I want to back out, but it is literally way too late in the process for me to back out. And I missed my last chance to do that. And so now I am just like sitting here and regretting my decision, but we're just gonna have to make it work. We're gonna have to figure it out. And yeah, I'm gonna be house poor. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna afford food. I don't know how I'm gonna afford gas. I don't know what I'm doing. Who let me do this? Who let me do this?
Why did my electric bill go from $150 a month to $500 a month? It'd be understandable if I turned down my air conditioning to 15 degrees. But go ahead, ask me if I turn it down to 15 degrees for 30 days straight. Huh? No, I did not. I do not want to live in an ice cube. No. I'm like a normal human. 68 degrees at night, turn it up to 76. I didn't change a dang thing throughout the entire month. But somehow it jumps by $400. That's a little crazy. And they need to stop that. So y'all go ahead and tell them to stop that, okay? Because I don't like that at all.
Was anybody else's electricity bill insanely high this month? Mine was too. Let's talk about it. Since the start of the second term of this administration, electricity bills have gone through the roof by nearly 10%. On top of that, reports are highlighting and showcasing that not only have household electricity bills gone up by 10%, but also wholesale energy in general has gone up by 74%. And what makes matters even worse is that the Secretary of Energy that was put into this position by the Trump administration has conceded, yes, actually Trump policies do contribute to the fact that the household costs of energy are going up, but for some reason, this is still the blame of the Democrats. And you're probably wondering why. Well, let me tell you why. Tariffs, trade agreements, and also significant cuts to U.S. energy and rollbacks on green energy in particular, with a heavy reliance on fossil fuels and oil and gas, has led for your costs to go through the roof. As a matter of fact, I have some statistics. The administration's rollbacks on significant renewable energy sources and Green New Deal promises have resulted in 64,000 individuals losing their jobs this year. On top of that, cuts to clean energy resulted in nearly $33 billion in significant downfall and significant investments into nearly 123 energy companies across 33 states. The U.S. Energy Information Administration predicts that next year, the cost of your household bills, specifically for energy and electricity, are going to be up by 18%. Now, that's all I have for you guys today, but I highly recommend two things. One, you follow me here on TikTok as well as my YouTube, which is linked in my bio. And also feel free to check back in for updates, particularly on this issue. And I hope to see you guys next time on another short episode of Politics with NJ. Bye-bye.